Yes, yes. Welcome, MDC family. This evening, we have a one and only, one of our own MDC members, the one and only DJ Wareika. See? Here to talk about Turning Point Sound, mixtapes, sound culture, and his projects in Outreach Music Project. Hope you enjoy, family. Hope you enjoy. Yes, my brother Mark.
Yes, just skip.
Yeah, you're good. You're gonna tell us from the beginning?
Yeah. The roles have got reversed this evening.
This evening, yeah. Just for once.
Big up the man and then
Bless.
One of our own. He's one of our own. One of our own.
Coming from far.
What you say, Skip, from the beginning, yeah?
Yeah, please, brother. Let me just hear where you grew up and what vibes you was in, where you started, where you got the vibes for sound system and things.
All right. So, born in Luton, born in LND, youngest of 9. Five born in Jamaica, 4 born in the UK. One of them have passed away, my sister Sandra.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace, sis.
Rest in peace.
My father came to the UK in 56. He was in London for a piece. He come to Luton 1959. And then my mum come 1964. And I was born in 1971.
Okay.
So that's the settings anyway of the family. Grew up in around Biscot Road area, Holland Road. That's where we kind of grew up. Just, same old, Jamaican family, Jamaica inside, England outside. That kind of vibes, you know what I mean? Yeah. The standard little family, you know what I mean? Quite, dysfunctional in places. But there was a lot of us in it. So, you know what I mean? There's all kind of things going on in my family, you know what I mean? It's always, so I want to, dysfunctional might be a kind of strong word still, but I say it going in. I think most families at the time were kind of that way anyway.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I went to school, Denby juniors, Denby infant, Denby juniors, Denby high. You understand? And that was just kind of it. But I think the change, what happened for me, like regarding music, because obviously, we had a lot of music in the house. My dad wasn't your regular like Jamaican kind of man. It wasn't like blue beat and this and that and only kind of like ska tunes and that. He had his gram, but my dad liked pop music.
Okay.
Yeah, he liked pop music, and from as long as I can remember, the radio was always on in the house from I was about till at least 16 years old.
Yeah. Settings.
Yeah. It's pure radio settings. He's a lover radio, man. And the records, what he had was kind of like Beatles records and the Kinks and them kind of, 60s kind of white groups. Yeah, that's what he kind of like. Because he used to go on like he was a little bit, different than your regular yard man.
Than the average.
Yeah, than your average. For one, he was a herbs man. He was, my dad was a big herbs man. That was quite rare at the time as well. But he was quite conservative in his outlook as well. So even though he was a herbs man, he wasn't like no kind of like dreadlocks or kind of hippie kind of thing. He was quite conservative, but he didn't drink alcohol. He didn't really go to clubs, you know what I mean? He was a bit of a ladies' man, that kind of guy. He used to go on like he was quite stush, innit? And to be honest, in the way, by the time the 80s come across, me and Arlie will tell you, we used to just wear most of his wardrobe.
Yeah.
We used to wear all my dad's wardrobe, man. There's pure Lyland Scott in there, there's pure Kabuchi in there, there's this, there's that. There's Farrah's, there's everything.
Well, I don't know about Wareika. We used to teabag his clothes.
Yeah, well,
So where it's back. Yeah, he didn't know he was doing it. Do you know what I mean? So, but his clothes. He used to shop at this shop called Cecil G.
Yes, man.
Oh, yes. I remember that name.
Yeah, and even I went in there like about say 10 years ago,
Mm.
and it was well expensive then. So God knows, you know, he was spending a lot of money.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And I did wear nothing but Pharaohs to school. So basically, I didn't have Barbies, I didn't have Girls World and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But boy, my clothes were immaculate. You know, I had Pharaohs, I had the latest, whatever the latest trainers were for school then. I had it. Yeah. So and my hair was always done nice. Yeah. That's where Mum spent our money for us. Like she used to save up our, what do you call it? Child benefit, innit, bruv? So if you get it weekly, she save it for like 3 months, and then we're just spangled out with clothes, you know, nice clothes.
Oh, that's blessed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't no toy thing growing up anyway, and them kind of thing. Really, yeah, when all your white friends they got toys and gifts and everything, that never used to go on. I remember like being at school, you know, like when end of term you can bring things in.
Yeah.
Never really had nothing too decent to bring in still, you know what I mean? Yeah, but it was different, you know. At the end of the day, it was, you know, it was more quality over quantity anyway. So, but anyway, yeah, moving on from that. So, how it kind of changed for me, like musically, is that my brother went and reopened the Starlight Youth Club in '61. So it was open there like mid-70s. And I don't know what happened. It closed for a bit. And then my brother with some other man, then Francis Reed and some other man, then got together and reopened the club.
Yeah. What's the brother's name for those that don't know?
Steve.
Steve Silver.
Yeah. Check out his video, innit? We got the video on the man them chat. Watch that. It's a good watch still. Yeah. So anyway, so he reopened the club. And because it's like a family sort of thing, everyone has to help out in it. So my mum's down there in the kitchen making food, his wife's down there, you know what I mean? And everyone else is, you know, other families are there. So we just kind of ended up spending most of our time there. So, you know, most evenings, you know, so basically, you know, I mean, we stayed in the youth club. But the thing with the youth club, it had like a very kind of, by the time I started to kind of manifest what it was about, he had a very strong sound system culture.
Yeah.
And most of the big sounds then will come in there and playing there. You know, so my brother sussed that out early, that if you want to make some money for himself in the club or whatever, you need to have to keep big dance. And that's what he used to do. He used to always try and get the best of everybody to come in that place. Yeah, I wasn't really that, you know, overly musically inclined. As I said, you know, I mean, you grew up on pop records, mate. So you know, we're just there, innit? But what I think what the turning point was, excuse the pun, is when Briggy come there in 1982 with Jalove, Brigadier General. And he stayed around Luton for a while as well, because he was in love with one girl from Luton. You know, I think Mr. Beanie used to be the original gate man at 61. Rest in peace, Beanie. His daughter, call it. And so he was around. So he's a man I used to see, you know what I mean? I think, this man's got a different mystical, you know, Rasta thing and rare. And that's when I started to get kind of drawn into sound. It was then. So that was that first kind of dance I can remember, 1982. And then them time I remember Saxon coming there. And I remember like playing pool with all Smiley Culture and them, and then kind of realizing the UK DJ them and this and that, and you know, every big sound passed through 61, innit? You know what I mean? But all international sound. And I remember having, you know, going in the library and having some deep reasoning. Yeah, there's a group of us. My brother said, yeah, go in there and sit down with Jack Ruby, innit? Jack Ruby, the producer of Burning Spears' greatest albums, them, and it's big sound in it, you know, Jack Ruby's, you know, and chatting to people like him. And then obviously Rasta Ting was big at the time as well. So it's Holy Rasta Ting and consciousness and rare. That's how it was. So it just go on and, you know, Rackle got through. And then a few years later, you know, he's on there, my good friend Jumbo Mount, Colin, he built a sound. And it was called, is it Einity? Was it Einity, Colin Mount? Is that what
it was Einity King? Yes, Einity.
Yeah. So, you know, I started to kind of knock around with them man there as just a youngster. He was just watching. Wasn't like really in the sound, just kind of observing, just looking and seeing where I go on. And then the sound was like a youth man sound. And then what happened next? I think I think Lawrence must have contacted Mount and told them, like, you know, come join the big sound. He must have liked what was going on. And then, you know, Mount just said one day, you know, we're gonna go and join Gemini. Gemini man, them I knew anyway through the youth club. The original man, them, you know, Hammer and Tony Dread them, and I knew them kind of man. I've heard them play already. Yeah, but this was a new kind of Gemini with sort of like where it was Fritz and Stefan, Malachi. Malachi was young. Then Malachi was with the older Gemini, but he come over to this new one, and then he kind of so basically what I think what Lawrence was doing was building a new kind of crew. So he had the core element, but he just needed some youth them in it to come around it. So we joined. And, you know, we started to go up and down. You know, the sound done well, Gemini. You know what I mean? It played with everyone. Won some clashes, lost some clashes. Toured all over the UK in the back of the van. You know, some mad adventures. One time, you know, Colin will tell you, one time on the way back from Nottingham, I threw up in his lap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Under the Rica and the Sensei.
I mashed up his speaker. He built a brand new speaker. We went to Nottingham to play. We went to Marcus Garvey Centre in Nottingham to play V Rocket. And Mount built some brand new speakers and everything. And I think it was like about 65 pence for a bottle of Crucial Brew or something like that. It was like 65 pence. So basically, I had a fiver on me. And I could buy how much bottles of Crucial Brew, and I probably had a little bit of Red Sea Lash on me at the time. So anyway,
that's right.
Just got mashed up. We got kicked up by Rocket that night there. Anyway, Rocket. We got kicked up by them, innit? So anyway, I was mashed up. And so we was trying to, you know, if you know Marcus Garvey, it's like 3 flights of stairs. We're carrying all the speakers up. I ended up dropping Mount's brand new 18-inch speaker.
Wow.
It goes down the stairs, it mash up. You understand? Mount knows it's me, innit? But he's like, what the fuck have you done? But he ain't throwing me to the wolves. He ain't throwing me to the wolves, man. You know what I mean?
I couldn't do that. Not with people there.
He just made that like something else happened. And it wasn't me. It was me. I fucking dropped it. I couldn't manage it. It was too heavy. I dropped the speaker.
Yeah, you dropped it. I mash up and broke up my ring. This Puny now wanted to borrow my ring because I had jewellery back then. You know, everybody had their gold. So I had this AS ring. Begging me to wear it. No, I let him wear it. So the speaker drops on his finger. So I had to cut the ring.
That's another Arlene. That's another
night. Okay.
That's like Miss Lou Shabine in Hitchin.
That's the second time it dropped on your finger.
No, so you dropped it a couple of times.
I dropped the speaker. I dropped.
Oh yeah, she dropped the speaker. I thought you were talking about.
Anyway, so I was mashed up, and anyway, and we was going in the back of the van, and I was sitting next to Mount, and I just turned over and vomited all over him.
Yes.
Who did you vomit on? Colin?
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, poor Colin.
So it was that kind of thing anyway. So that
you used to vomit up the place regular anyway. Do you remember?
Anyway, so the sound Gemini mashed up around 1988, and then after that, we was always collecting records. And my sister Arlie, she's always buying records and always having tunes. And a girl up the road called Lisa Charles, she used to always have tune and that. So, you know, we always had music in the house. We used to make cassettes and do little things like that. So after that, a couple of people asked me to like play some little parties for them, and I've done a few of them. I had to borrow equipment to do. I never had no equipment, and then this
is after Gemini, yeah.
Yeah, after Gemini, I spent about a year. I spent about a year and a half with Love Light, playing down Mill Street round the back. That was good. That was a good learning thing as a selector, because Holy Man used to play down there. Good DJs used to play. Fingers used to play in there. Swanee used to play in there, and I kind of started learning about different styles of music and that.
So you kind of stumbled into being a selector then. You didn't set
out
it wasn't
to intentional. Yeah, it wasn't intentional. Selector wasn't no big thing in them times there. DJ man on mic was more important.
Mm.
When I was younger, I wanted to be a DJ. You understand? That's why me and Colin used to spar. I was like his little Prento, innit? Because Colin used to be a DJ as well, sporty. Yeah, so you know what I mean. I just stumbled into it because my sister and them like had records, and I started to buy a couple, and that's how it went. So after Love Life, I wanted to kind of more get back into the reggae thing because obviously we come from a reggae foundation. So Freedom was a big sound at the time, and then I went and joined Freedom. This was in about like 1989, end of 1989. I joined Freedom. And I think at the time, Ute was on Freedom. Sean was Major Tony, and we had like Smokey Joe, Sheriff. The rest of by then, I think the original owner had gone back to America, but most of the core members of Freedom was there. Don Carlos, them kind of man there.
Totally.
So I was with them for a while, playing with them for about a year and a half, and then. I remember, so basically, like for the whole year I was with Freedom, I remember getting like, one time they give me £20 for some dance, and then time they, you're playing in blueses and you're playing all night, it's long, it's hard. You have to lift because you're young, you still have to help lift up box, you have to do all of that. Anyway, so one night I think I got £20, and then I played a whole heap more dances, wasn't getting nothing, and then the next time I got £10, and I was like, wasn't too enjoying this. And then one night they had a blues down the Saxon Road, and I played there. And them time, Freedom had more than one selector. So they had Hitbound, Cess. He was one of the selectors. He was like the main selector. And then Warm and Easy, Lloyd was on there. And then I was on there. But to be honest, I was doing like most of the playing for some reason. I was just doing most of it. And then after the dance, I played out all night, and the man gave me £2.50 for a taxi, innit? You know what I mean? And I was just like pissed, innit? And then and so like I I remember just like venting to Vigi at the time. Them time there, Vigi had just come like up from Aylesbury, but we've always been friends from a long time, our family friends. And I remember the sort of like moaning to Vigi, and Vigi turning around to me and saying, "Oh, fuck that, man. Let's come out of that, man. We'll just build up our own thing, innit?" And I'm like, how? I mean, I ain't got no sound. I ain't got nothing. Rare. How's it going to happen? But he just kept going on and saying, nah, we can do it. We can. So we did. So one day, round Vigi's house over Jubilee Street, his sister Sarah's house, flat, we were sitting around there and we sort of come up with a little idea in it. So it was me and Vigi and Ute them time they followed us from Freedom. Easy come over from Freedom as well. Briggy was in there, Glamour was there, and we just said like, we're just gonna form our own sound and do a thing in it, you know what I mean? So we did, we got, and Vigi's sister had a picture on the wall. It's like some famous Harlem Renaissance picture drawn in the 1930s, and under it's called the Turning Point.
Okay.
We got to come up with a name in it, and Vigi said, "Yeah, why don't we name it after that in it?" And so we did.
So that was the birth of Turning Point.
Oh yeah, this was around about 1991, and then after that, now, as I said, we didn't really, Vigi had connections already because prior to that, Vigi was doing promotions and like acid house things and that, so we had contacts. So we decided to kind of like go down Aylesbury way, kind of test ourselves a little bit out, play some house parties, but do some little bits and pieces. And so we done about 3 or 4 sessions down there, and then we decided, come back to Luton. We was very fortunate when by the time we decided to say yes, come back to Luton, Caperton was doing a dance at that hotel, the hotel in Berry Park there.
Yeah, Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
I remember that. Yeah, that was on mad.
And then across the road now, GT, Anthony Charlery, rest in peace, GT. He used to keep some blueses in one of them, them houses on Dunstable Road. They were really big. Warm and Easy was kind of quite friends with Anthony at the time, GT. and they booked us to play. So we had to scramble some things together to play the dance in it. And to be honest, we played the dance and it was a roadblock. It was a roadblock. Other man then was keeping freedom of playing down the road. Their dance flopped. I think Sovereign might have been doing something that flopped. Everyone come to that dance, and it was cark, you know what I mean? And then after that, it just snowballed from there. Yeah. My jaw's hurting me now. Yeah. So that's it. That's turning point. You know what I mean? That's how it started. If anyone wants to ask any questions, then just ask.
Yeah. Anybody want to come in with a question before we move on?
Lamar, at what point did you discover that you was a really good selector then? Because you obviously are pretty good.
Not too bad. He's not too bad.
You know, sometimes you like.
I don't know. It's just like
you don't become who you become.
It's just practice and playing and watching and observing other people and stuff. You know what I mean? As I said, I was always, if you kind of live and breathe the music, it works for you, innit? So basically,
Wareika was always.
Hold on, now. I've got a job in a record shop, and I used to go and buy records and then look at other DJs and see, what one good influence for Turning Point was because I think at the time, the juggling thing had just started to come in, and we just embraced it, full 100%, and make sure, we got some decks, but make sure we didn't care about speakers, innit? As long as we got decks, as long as you got your two techniques and your mixer,
Good.
mixer, and that's it. And we just kind of embraced kind of juggling, and then we was looking at man them like Chris and like.
Well, I remember us kind of trying to be very modern, and we were trying to create a new kind of which was relatively new at the time.
Yeah,
which was mix reggae together. Mix, I know it sounds a bit basic now, but even them times, we were talking about let's mix the tunes, let's mix them all together, use the decks like how they almost like
hip hop sort of thing,
the house scenes, and like they were doing in the hip hop. Mix them together. Let's mix, because that wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't really, people weren't really doing
the
that.
only guys who were doing it at the time as well, so obviously Chris Goldfinger had come over from Yard.
Exactly, yeah.
But I didn't really know Chris that well, but who I did know was Robert Allen from Nasty Love.
Yeah,
so,
there's the picture.
That's the picture.
Is that the Turning Point picture?
Yeah. Yes, okay. It's a famous picture.
That was the one.
Yeah.
It's up on the wall.
Yeah.
I just asked Sarah because she hasn't got it anymore.
Yeah, so Robert Allen, who used to select on Nasty Love, he used to work at Dub Vendor. Right, so I used to go there, and you know what I mean, and I knew them, and they were kind of bringing on a different kind of thing. It wasn't the one deck thing, a dash out. You didn't really have to have man chatting lyrics on sound and turning on a version and all of that. So I used to go there, buy records, and I remember like talking to him one day, and he said to me, and I think I was telling him the same problem again. I was like, we're trying to build something in Luton, because they used to call me country, innit? Country, well, go on, and I was saying, yeah, I'm trying to build something in Luton and the sound and that. But I'm having problems because we were playing, but a lot of the bigger sounds wouldn't let us use their sound. They said that we couldn't come and play with them.
We used to get a fight. We used to get a fight.
They all tried it, you know what I mean? And they said no, because a lot of the time what we had to do was kind of anyway. So one day I was talking to Robert in the shop about it, and Robert said to me, "Yeah, but we ain't got a sound." I said, "What? You ain't got a sound?" No, I said, "I ain't got no sound." He goes, "No, man, we ain't got no sound." I said, "Listen, all your blood clot brought down sound in our Brixton. We just go and borrow which one we need for borrow." I say, "So you got none in Luton and we'll park up?" And I was saying, "Yeah, there is a couple actually." And he said, "Yeah, man, let's go link them." So what we done? We linked like Wayne MacArthur, big up Wayne, Moonwave Music. Wayne used to come and lend us his stuff.
That's the yellow sound, isn't it?
Totally against his principles as well. Because Wayne was a conscious Rasta man. I wear there's some rude boy then, but bless Wayne, he used to still kind of lend us his things and that. And then after that, we used to borrow Trini, rest his soul, Trini. you know. And Trini used to lend us his equipment, and so we used to go around and play and do stuff. But as Vigi said, we tried to kind of like, it was more of a juggling thing. I'm not saying other sounds never used twin decks before us. They did. All the soul boys did, but we were kind of like from a reggae tradition and doing it. So I think we were like the
we
first.
Used to get a fight, man. They used to give us a fight regular and say we shouldn't be doing it like that. We shouldn't be. Why you lot trying to? Because we was little youth man going on with our little thing. Why you lot going on like that? I saw a lead thing that where I go on there. I saw a lead thing, and we just wanted to just do this mix thing. We were just so into it.
Yeah. I remember you and
especially when Mark was doing his he used to do his tapes and that, and that's how we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it the same way he was doing his tapes, not so much talking and that. We just like mix it down.
Yeah, I remember you two was quite good on the mix.
Well, Feds used to get mad with us where we used to do it.
Well, to be honest, Vigi was kind of the mixer in the early days. Most of the mixing and that was down to him as well, you know. And then we had you on the mic as well. He was there doing this thing, and he, he's so show off on Bossy, and helped it. We had a lot of, to be honest, we got big very quick. We got big before we even knew what was happening, really.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we had a lot of following. We had a lot of people around us. Everyone wanted to come and try and book us and that. And we did. We done a lot of work. We held residencies all over the place. We were playing everywhere. You understand?
Can you name some of the places you played
but we didn't care. We would play the Shabine them, and we'd play the nice place them as well. We did business, we just play anywhere. So remember, Vig, you got places like Game Bird. Remember we used to do that?
Yes.
We used to play Casablanca a lot. We used to play all over. And then in the end, we was playing in London, most places in London, from Chimes, Pegasus, Friends, all of them kind of places. Bedford, we used to play there a lot.
Yeah.
And we could just get residencies, and it didn't really matter. But we didn't care in it. You could play in a nice club in the evening, and then later on in it, you just go down to Berry Park in it and go play in some sugar.
Don't mind playing uptown
as simple as that. You know what I mean? We didn't mind. We just played in it, and
we were youths, man.
Yeah,
we were youths.
Yeah.
I think that was a massive difference. We were just young. We were, I think the oldest one out of all of us, in the sort of core of it, was kind of Feds and me, and I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember them time up and down the pier, them places there, the old Cork and Bull. Do you know what I mean?
Everywhere.
All over town.
There's not really a venue in Luton that I haven't played in. I think I've played in every single church, hall, community centre, everywhere, everything. There's not one what I don't think I've played in. I can't think of one.
The highlight for me was Carnival, Luton Carnival.
Always.
Nice. We was outside breaking.
We were at 61.
Always. We had the greatest spot.
Yeah, and breaking.
That was just.
Time, I think.
We had the greatest spot. We'd always mash it up without fail. We'd always mash it up. No matter who comes around or come there to play against.
And the whole of 61 was just ram.
Yeah, man.
That's when Carnival was Carnival.
Yeah.
Everyone would meet in it. You know what I mean? Everyone knew that Starlight was the spot. And ever since they took 61 away, it's been finished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we've been in it for a long time. Colin will tell you, if you want to talk about Carnival, you remember that thing when it was basically, it was just like a kind of fate thing. I remember when Mal done his first what do you call it, Colin? What do you call that? Float.
Yeah.
And we all helped out in it. We just threw up and paint up some ting and rare and put it on the float. And that was about like 1984, 85. And then after that, it started to kind of like develop. But, even Starlight, I had to fight for that, to get Turning Point, to have that, because it was it's a principle thing. Yeah, we wasn't
me and Tony.
But obviously 61's my birthright, man. You know what I mean? And in the end, I think we as Sovereign just shared it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I think Sovereign them wanted it for themselves, innit? But there was some kind of like, you know, they
Oh,
weren't
wait.
they weren't 61 people, man.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they weren't.
No, they weren't.
You
They
know,
weren't.
No,
so,
we would
so
have found
but,
extra. They would just,
So,
yeah.
right, as an established selector then now, what sound influenced you? Like, you listened to them and said, yeah, I want to be like that, or...
well,
Who
that's
inspired you?
what I said. I wasn't really that interested in selecting to begin with. I
No, I
was
mean,
more
but
like,
once you was established, what sound did you, like, listen to and think,
once
yeah,
I start playing out,
yeah,
Rory, and it's you've got to put
Stoner.
Rory in there.
Yeah,
Captain Midnight. I used to like Captain Midnight
Mm.
from a sound called Super Saint. He used to be good. Like the British man, them I used to like. You know, Chris. Same. My man from Dub Vendor.
Yeah.
You know, Robert Allen. You know,
You
R.I.P.
still have a
Robert.
unique style as well when you come back.
Yeah. I just like that kind of thing. And then one time, Vigi. I don't think you might have forgot this, Vigi. Remember, you got your cassette from that Trinidad sound.
Scene.
You remember that cassette?
Scene.
What they call Chinese country.
Yeah.
And they're fucking, they're juggling and they're mixing, and that was just like off the chain.
Influence.
It was off the chain, and they were playing the music quite fast as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. It was all about that mixing thing that
juggling
like, just twisted our head, man. You know, and that was when we first started kind of hearing like sounds just like mixing reggae on top of reggae, and they're like playing it fast. It's like, this is
did you guys copy that style?
Yeah,
absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, okay.
Of course, you got to learn from someone. You know,
Why wouldn't you, man?
No, just wondering.
Yeah. We just, you know what I mean, we just followed it like that. And then obviously because we were trying to play a kind of variety of music, we get to go and play some other places.
It kind of suited us because we were young.
But we never had no money. We ain't got no dub.
No, exactly.
You know, we can't play. We ain't got no sound. So you have to kind of try and make sure that you're up to the speed on music. You got to be bang up to date. You know, I mean, most of my money used to go on music. As I said, you know, them guys in London, they used to even laugh at me. Sometimes I go Dub Vendor, Skank Train to Dub Vendor, buy 2 record in it. Redman used to take the piss out of me all the time.
Yeah,
come on, look, we have Ladbroke Grove. I 2 record. Yeah, fine. I get to him. And I was like, no, don't worry, man. Just skank it back home. He goes, boy. And he used to just laugh in it. But we would do that, you know what I mean? Because obviously we needed ammunition. We didn't have dub plate then. We didn't really have no money. We didn't have no sound. So make sure that you've got all of the big tune then. All of the big tune then. You know, one of the maddest things I ever done was like when Beanie Man's and Zim Zimmer come out. And I heard it. I was in Nottingham, and one of them Nottingham sounds played that. And I thought, wow. And I thought, I never
need that. Yeah.
And I remember coming back like the Saturday from Nottingham on the Monday, skanking the train.
Angela.
I need to mute you.
Is that Ange?
Yeah.
Mute your mic, hun.
So I muted her. It's all right. Go ahead, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember like the Monday, like skanking the train to London, right, just to go vendor and buy it. And it had
Zimmer.
Yeah. And it had just come, you know, I think they might have got it on the Sunday and I got it on the Monday because I remember like the man saying, oh, you know about that one day? And I said, I heard it in Nottingham. Somewhere some man had it, you know what I mean? And yeah, things like that. You'd have to do kind of proper extreme stuff just to stay one ahead in it because you know the rest of the man them are full of dub, they're full of money, they're organized. I'm not saying they're full of money, but all of the man them were more organized. Us, we were just kind of like more, you know what I mean, like some rag and tag thing, you know what I mean? And we had issues, we had drug issues. I'm not going to go around it. You know, in the sound, we had some major drug issues with the man them, you know what I mean? And it went on for a long time. So we were kind of like, you know what I mean? Vibes alone couldn't do it, you understand? But we tried our best and we were doing it, you understand? And doing quite well out of it.
I remember you saying that you didn't choose to be a selector, you kind of stumbled into it. And you're saying MCs were mainly the thing at the time and you wanted to be an MC. Who was your favourite MC growing up?
What, on mic?
Yeah.
Cat, Early B,
The Dan them.
Briggy at some point, but I was more like most of the man them were more like they're like the stir man them, Chaplin, but I used to like the rude boy TJ then. So I kind of like more Steramars. I used to like Cat, Nicodemus, them kind of man. Yeah, Cutty Ranks. Early B. I rank in Taiwan. I used to like ranking Taiwan. I used to go training. Them man there. And out of the British man them, I used to like, there was a brother who used to chat on a sound called Quadraphonic out of Broadwater Farm called John Steely. I used to like him.
Quadraphonic.
He was bad.
He was good.
Bad. Yeah, and I used to like Ricky Rankin, who used to chat on Taurus. Them kind of man there, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's a brother who used to chat on Coxon as well. Can't remember his name. Yeah, there's a few of them anyway, so.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions to ask Mark? Reggie, you mentioned mixtapes. Tell me about the story of the mixtapes, Mark, because I know you like the first man to do it in a Luton, innit?
When we first, when you're talking back in the day when we first got the opportunities to kind of start traveling and going places and finding mixtapes, and we were talking about times when literally it was tapes. we'd be finding tapes and going back round to Mark's yard and playing music and like it was all new, all brand new, it's all new.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Street culture promotions, yeah.
That's what
it was called, isn't it?
We had the whole home counties covered. Some great times in Watford and some great nights in Watford. We used to play in one pub over Watford. It was just fantastic. It was some really good nights. Really, really good nights. Yeah. So it was just complete bravado. We were just young. Just young and dumb. But full of arrogance.
For the love of it, yeah.
I think that's what kind of carried us. Because it wasn't, just pure arrogance at that stage. I'm not ashamed to say it. Pure arrogance.
But didn't you guys have also, passion? Because, arrogance, confidence, especially the arrogance of youth, isn't that part of the fuel that keeps you going?
Yeah.
And you've got the kind of talent that you guys had and the determination that you guys probably still have.
Yeah. The thing is, we had no idea. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I certainly didn't have any talent. So, I was just wandering around trying to act like I. But I was going to say, we didn't feel as though we had any talent. We just
but your talent, Richie, was inspiring people to do stuff. We just kind of
knew what we would what we wanted. We know what we wanted. Yeah. We didn't know how to get it. Even when we had the opportunity to get, our first dub plates and stuff like that, we just start. Oh yeah, all right. We need to get some money, and need to get some money to get a road on a second. I'll go out on the street and go and go out the road and get some money and give some money.
Yeah,
literally. We need to give him 40 quid each. Oh, it's all right. Yeah, come. Let me go out the road. Let's go and find some money.
Blaps, you got your hand up.
I had no idea what we were doing. None.
Yeah, skip. Yeah. I know we're kind of pushed for time, innit? So I'll probably wrap up that part of the sound system thing. So before I've got to always have to give a big mention to people who helped us kind of along the road. I can't forget Trevor. Big up to Dojos, innit? He's the one who helped us. It was a mutual thing, innit? Because he could corral us into playing for him and not paying us, and obviously, it was a mutual thing. Because we went there, and he was, he was a supporter of us all the way. You know what I mean? And then I can't forget, man like Jegge exposed us to the whole of the UK. With Sammy Jegge, he was playing everywhere and playing with all of the big sound them, the whole residencies all over East London. He was doing all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You need all of the yard artists, everyone was around it, from Shabba, Ninja, Gregory, everyone. You meet these people all the time. You understand? Yes, the funds, the wages weren't great in it, but respected your work, you know what I mean? Also to, as I said, to Trevor Dojos, them kind of man, them Terry Brown, all of them guys in it, you know what I mean? Kind of give us a bringing, you know what I mean, to do the thing.
True.
So it's like, you know what I mean, even Benz and that, so that's part of the sound system thing.
All right, we've got two hands up. We go from Blaps first and then to Patrick. Go ahead, Blaps.
Yes, Mark. Congratulate you for all your career and everything you've done for music so far. And our entertainment, obviously. I was just wondering, I don't know if you think it's all done, you're never going to do this again, but I'm just asking point of view of, if someone said they want it to work and do this sound thing, what would you suggest them to do? How would you make it a successful thing?
I think it depends, innit? Because to be honest, I couldn't really give advice against the whole sound thing, even though it's called like Turning Point Sound. We've never kind of moved like a sound. We never even ever had a sound. You understand? So if you want to do like the proper sound thing, I would probably put you in the direction of some other man then. But as I said, to kind of like navigate the music thing, DJing and elements of sound culture and other elements of music, I'll tell them, just try and be as versatile as possible. And you have to build you have to build a fan base. You have to have some followers. You can't play. You need a hardcore people. If anything was going on, 10 of them will come. You understand? I think we start off with that first.
I think things have changed a lot. I think things have changed a lot since those days as well. When sound was running, and you could just have, like, even if it was just Wareika going out with his tunes, things have changed a lot now. You got like DJs who are very, very established DJs, and they just walk with their tunes, and it's just them.
Yeah, it's just a laptop thing
that
now,
wouldn't
isn't it?
happen. Things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot.
All right, Patrick, you had a hand up. You got a question?
Yes, Ninja.
Okay, Ninja.
Yeah, but that helped as well. Ninja had a record shop, so that helps. Records were coming true. You know what I mean?
Top of income.
Discount and that. So that always helped. That's why.
Yeah, go ahead, Patrick. Ricky.
Well, I tried to take off this hand.
All right, I'll do it for you. Go on.
Yeah, you can hear me now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The question I ever asked Wareika still is this: it's obvious by your testimonial that you did a whole heap. Yeah, sound was going on good, but the one last journey that you didn't take, the ability was there, everything was there, was to be the top sound in Luton, just like the previous sound in the past.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, to be honest, Ninja, it's a bit of a combination of things, because, as I said, how we were doing our thing wasn't really in the way how the other sounds had come before us. So we was kind of like we come from the reggae thing. Yeah, we do. We come from that, but we wasn't really that bothered about having to be like the top reggae sound. We would play anyway and do anything. Because we were playing a different kind of variety of music. You understand? And I think, and the reasons why we probably never fulfilled our goal, as I said, I'm not going to skate around here. We had a lot of issues. You understand? I'm not really going to just go into the whole shebang on here. But yeah, we had a lot of issues. And we struggled to kind of like organize. We did, organization wise, we couldn't organize ourselves. Yeah, I don't know whether that's like ego or hype or whatever, you know what I mean? But so that's probably it, you know what I mean? To be honest, most of the other sound them in Luton, they were more kind of like organized and united to a common goal, where we were just kind of like all over the place. You understand? Because every man had skill. The thing with Turning Point, man, every man that had kind of like their own kind of skill and set. A lot of them were more into recording and making.
I think there were certainly some mature people around. I mean, Malachi was always very mature. Wareika, definitely most sensible and most mature. But I'll speak for the rest of us. There was some pretty sporadic minded people. Who just didn't. There was a lot of people who were getting into the sound just for just for girls and for stuff. We just for how it looked.
Yeah.
It was only when we started realizing there was quite a few people following the sound. We were like, oh yeah, this is really good. Oh yeah. But Wareika was always much more mature and much more sort of, sensible than everyone else.
I think he was more, he was ahead of his time to a certain degree in certain things, in certain aspects. And the way he was thinking about playing sound out there in the masses, he was ahead of us.
To be honest, one of the main man there on that, to be honest, it's like kind of give us good guidance, even though he don't actually play. He doesn't even play now. Is Malachi, Malachi kind of brought us a kind of different kind of round. Because I remember Malachi introducing me to a whole heap of different styles of music and whole heap of different thing, and I'm like, that can't really work, innit? And he was like, no, and buy them and play them, you know what I mean? Some of like that. A lot of the house
order, didn't he?
Yeah, a lot of the house stuff we used to play, a lot of the soul tunes and that. You know what I mean? That was Malachi's kind of thing, introducing us to kind of things like, a lot of the rare groove stuff and as well. He had good taste, didn't it? I'll give him that still.
Yeah, I think you guys had the little that I know about you. I mean, I wasn't in that world, but I heard about Turning Point, and I know that although Stephen Viggy is saying he's playing it down a bit, I think he's saying that he was all over the place, but actually, I mean, you forget perhaps Viggy or Stephen, that you went into London and you worked for a management company and actually worked very closely with Finley Quay, and your skills that you had from Aylesbury carried into Luton, worked with Viggy, and I agree with everybody else. Viggy was like a librarian and still is a connoisseur of music, and the wealth of information that you have on music is brilliant. And Stephen, your ability to conjure up a kind of direction and passion in people, that to me is not to be made light of in the way that you're making light of it, because I remember, as I said, you went on to work with Finley Quay and you did very well with that on the management team.
Definitely there was a period where I was when I came to London, it was definitely a directional period for me. It was good, but I mean, there was definitely a period when I was in Luton. That was definitely a bit. Remember where there was definitely a bit of a I was off the rails, just trying to find my way, definitely trying to find my way. Without Turning Point and Mark and Arlene and them guys, I wouldn't have found my way. I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Wareika and Turning Point and Arlene and everyone in the Stephenson family definitely need a big up in Luton, because they were a kind of guiding light for a lot of people. Oh yeah, right. If I carry on like that, I'll be all right. A lot of people kind of graduated towards the Stephenson family and the house and and how things were. Definitely, 100%. You know, and we probably haven't had enough opportunity to kind of turn the light on. I know he doesn't like it that much, but to turn the light on Mark and say big up, big up.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah, he don't like it, but he's done a lot.
Yeah,
He's done a lot. You got to give him his dues.
There's that answer Ninja's question. What chairman, you know, all the other.
Well, are you the man?
Does that answer your question, Ninja?
Yeah, to some degree. But all right, let me ask you another question.
All right.
Have you still got the feeling for music that you've had for the last X amount of years? Would you?
Yeah, in my mind, I have. Yeah, in my mind, you know what I mean. But you know, to be, you know, you have to be realistic nowadays, Ninja. Innit? You know, as Vigi said as well, the game has changed now. You know, there was some prestige about being a DJ. Innit? You could tell a girl in those days, yeah, I'm a DJ, innit? And they're like, yeah, right. If you say to a girl
that
now,
was the whole
I'm
point.
a DJ, she's gonna be like, what else do you do then? That's what. What does that mean? You know what I mean? You know, so it's a lot easier to kind of be a DJ and to play and that, and yeah. So I don't know. I just fit in where I have to fit in. You know what I mean? If people come and talk to me about anything or like playing anywhere, yeah, we'll find a way. We'll come to some. You know?
All right. Last question. Does music help your life?
Does
music?
Say that again.
Life?
Yeah,
does
of
music?
Course. Yeah. What are you talking about, man? Music. Well, without listen, you know what I mean? I've always managed to kind of like do things around music, even if it's not just, you know, playing sound and that, but a lot of the things I'm doing leading up to like the organization I've got now, everything's sort of music related, everything's music led. Yeah, I mean, all of the man them who I deal with on a day-to-day basis are kind of involved in a music to some kind of degree, some level, to be honest, you know. So yeah, definitely, it's never going to stop.
Saying that, can you tell us about your projects that you do then, community projects?
Yeah, do you want to do the mixtape then first, innit?
All right, so I did mention it earlier, but we just skated.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
So basically, you know, I mean, Vigi touched on it earlier. We used to always be at Argyle Avenue messing around in the swimming room. You know, got two little mash-up decks then, you know, playing tune then, this and that. You know. In Arlene's records, Arlene was in a bigger room and in her cupboard she'd have only per tune and we could take them out. And So one day, I think it was around about sort of like 1989, sort of them time there was a brother called Errol Eubanks. He's passed away as well, you know, yeah, rest in peace, Errol. So one day, you know what I mean, I was near his yard and he called me and he said, yeah, you know music, yeah, and I'll say, yeah. And he said, if you make me a tape, I'll give you a $5. And, you know, $5 was decent money them time there, you know, £5 in it. So I was recording every fucking rubbish I got in every tune with the tapes. Yeah, I mean, he's having it.
Tapes.
Yeah, we're putting them on a TDKD 90, selling them to him. And then after a couple of months, I just thought, I can't just keep giving him like that, you know what I mean? I thought, you know, let me get a double tape deck and then, you know, copy a couple of them to sell some to some other man them. You know, like Berry Park, Conway Arms, them kind of place. The man will buy them. Them man have got money down there. So, you know, so that's how it started, you know. So and then we eventually got up to like 5 tape decks. We just were making all kind of tape from all kind of music. Vigi used to mix some of them, the swing ones. Malachi come up with the knocking the boots concept. That was him, you know what I mean? He picked most of the tunes them on that. And yeah, we just, you know, just sold holy for tapes.
As I remember it, you was one of the first men to do that, still be selling.
Yeah, I was. There wasn't people in those days, people shared cassette. You didn't sell cassette. But as I said, most of the things that have happened in my journey, I stumbled into it. A man just said to me, I'll give you a $5. Yeah, I understand. And we took it from there and then begin to sell them. And then what we used to do, we used to mix the tune, and I used to put some little intros, Wareika selector, and then drop them in there. We used to drop them live on the vinyl, because we used to just take the little bits. It wasn't no sample. We was taking them off dubplate and just cutting them in and cutting them out and cutting them in. You understand me? I mean, it was remixing, tune them and that, just using 2 decks. You use an instrumental of an R&B rhythm. You understand? Mix it with a with our next reggae tune, or like a reggae rhythm, and use like an R&B a cappella and things like that. And we were just doing that.
A lot of
pioneer.
Reggae with the Bee Gees.
Pioneer, man.
I remember that Bee Gees tune we used to play.
Yeah.
With
Barbra Streisand.
With the Barbra Streisand.
Yeah,
the Barbra Streisand with the other one. Oh, yeah.
The Cobra.
Yeah.
The Cobra, the Barbra Streisand.
Hold on. Dex says Mark taught me everything I know about mixing and DJing from my time with him. Never forget that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wanted to bring some of the man. I think Snow's being very quiet in there. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Hold on. Dex says I've still got some of those cassettes, Mark.
Yeah. Who's got them?
Dex said he's still got some of those cassettes.
Yeah, I want some of them.
Yeah, I've got some.
They're some of the best, man. Can you transfer them though? I
haven't got a lot of the masters. I don't really have anymore. I've lost loads of them over the years, and I moved around quite a bit and done lots of different things in it. So, but there are people who have them, because up to the other day, someone pulled over and this little youth said to me, "Oh, are you Wareika?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, my dad, he told me, I've been listening to his tapes. Them knocking the boots. I like them." And I said, "Yeah, you like them ones there?" And he goes, "Yeah,
Granddad,
I like them." And he was only about 17. He was only about 17. He was very young.
Yeah.
How he knew who I was, I don't know. He just stopped me and just said, "Yeah, you know what I mean." And I like them. When I said, "You like them old time tune them?" As a young youth, and
a lot of the young people do like the R&B.
So you know what I mean. So, and then after that, it's kind of evolved into kind of like CDs and stuff like that, and that just went on for quite a while. And that's it's just kind of died out now. I reckon in the last 2-3 months, that's been like the end of the CDs to a point where I don't really think I'm going to be. I've still got a few customers who still want them, but it's not really. It don't really spell sense now. So I'm just kind of, if anyone wants anything, I'm trying to push it onto them on a USB.
Yeah,
that's it.
Snow, you gonna put an appearance in?
Yeah, man. I want to hear from Snow, man. Well, go on, Daddy Snow.
Yes. Well,
your mic's quite low. You need to come closer to the phone.
Oh, sorry. My involvement with Turning Point, I met Mark when I stumbled into Rhythm Shack down in Berry Park when I was about 18.
Big up Ninja.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah, big up Ninja. Yeah. And the company I was working for, Milton Keynes, got bought out by Luton Company. So anyway, I went to work in Luton. My family all from Luton originally anyway, so I was happy about that, and obviously the football, into the football thing. So anyway, so I was into reggae, because when I was at school, all my friends were into hip hop, sort of 90s hip hop. So I went to my best friend's house, and his brother was playing reggae music. I was like, wow, I've never been a white person, not being brought up like probably you guys, I mean, I didn't hear reggae music much. You had Bob Marley and that, and and that's it. And I kind of liked it. It was, I thought, yeah, this is the right. So I borrowed
just take to it
and stuff. And then when I worked in Luton, I saw Rhythm Shack Records on delivery. I walked in there, and then the rest is history, man. Mark looked after me so well, taught me a lot. You know what I mean?
So was he buying records in there then, or?
Yeah, I was buying records. Yeah, because I was playing out local parties in Milton Keynes, little things, not many. It's here and there, really, what I could get. My first actual time I played out was in Streatham in London, my friend's brother's party, and that was a bit of a eye opener. But I done all right still, and and then I met Mark and sort of tagged along, really, and enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So come on then, tell me one of your memorable turning point dance, then Snowy. His memory is better than mine, innit?
Yeah.
The other day was leaving football. He was walking down Ash Road Skip, and he goes, "Yeah, you see that house over there, innit? We played the blues in there with Studio Express." And I said, "How can you remember the freaking house, man?" And he goes, "Yeah, and I say, "Well, out of the big row of terrace house, the man's pointing out the house, and I'm like, rah." Like, how do you actually remember that?
I just remember. I don't know, just I'm not sure really, but there's been a lot of memorable times. I don't know really what the memorable ones are, but we went to Wolverhampton once. I think it was a Sammy Jegge dance.
Yeah,
they're always memorable, mate.
I think it was with Malachi and Professor Nuts. We're doing a PA there.
Oh, Professor Nuts.
Yeah, the dance.
Yeah.
We had to come home, man. Because the first night was in the Signet Hotel in Luton, the hotel down in Bury Park on the hill, Beach Hill.
Beverly Hills,
yeah. In Wolverhampton, and then the next night was in London, but the Wolverhampton one got cancelled because of it all kicked off, and then the London one didn't happen. But the Luton one was really good. I remember that.
No, the Wolverhampton one went on.
That went on. Yeah, the Wolverhampton one went on.
That went on.
That was with Future Troubles, in it, and Malachi and
it didn't come on at the end.
Oh, okay. Did it finish early or something?
Yeah, it finished early. Yeah, the bottles flying at my head, and I was like, wow. So I had to run out of that one. But, there was no trouble, any other dances really, was there?
Nice one, Snow.
The memorable dance, I don't know really what. I used to like down the Sugarloaf and that, like little dances, and like the LA in Bury Park. I used to like them sort of clubs. And
like the downtown.
Yeah, the ghetto clubs. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, used to play. Wareika used to play some like soul and stuff in I can't remember, down Chapel Street, and the nice posh clubs in there. But it wasn't really my thing. I like this sort of like.
Yeah. You wasn't into the Bellinis and Casabianca settings, nah?
No,
All right, man.
Them sort of places, and I like the blues, lot the blues I liked after.
Yeah.
I like them sort of dances more than the sort of poshier ones. Yeah.
Cool.
It used to be good, because like on a Saturday, me and Wareika go football, then we'd do the radio station in different locations, Jam FM. Then we'll go to the club in Bedford. So it was a all day thing, and Saturdays were just unbelievable, just brilliant, I'd go back to work, and my white friends would say, what do you do at the weekend? And I'd tell them, but they didn't really understand.
Yeah.
It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday was like, even Sunday night in the West Indian Club in Bedford, like supposed to go on till 12, but we just used to get out there till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then straight to work. It was good.
Dex, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, nice one, Snow. Thanks. Can you talk about your experience with Wareika in the game?
Well, I knew Wareika before the sound as such. We like walking past, people, and I got to know him by buying his mixtapes. Funny enough.
Turn on your camera, bruv.
Hey.
Turn on your camera. You're going on so shy, man.
He ain't got his makeup on, mate.
You all know what it's like. my dreads are out. I need to. So yeah, no, I got to know Wareika actually from more his mixtapes, and it's just one time I've always been into music. I grew up where I live in Luton. With a lot of you probably know him, like the Huggins, like Thomas Huggins, or like Horse, or that lot. They're like one of my neighbours, so obviously like hanging around with them, like Angela, Mary, all that lot. We were always like playing like reggae and all that kind of stuff, and so I kind of had a gist of reggae from a very young age. It was like probably one of the first tunes that I used to, like the first genres that I actually started listening to, just hanging around with those guys. But just met Wareika one time, and then I was like, because I was into music, and sometimes you go to these clubs and the DJs are just rubbish. And I was just joking around with some of my like friends from work, saying, "I'm sure I could do better than this." And one time, one of them just like got you know, probably a bit annoyed with me and said, well, why don't you effing do it then? Well, you know, you keep talking about it. And I thought, actually, hold on, I ain't really got that much music. I ain't got any decks. I ain't got nothing. And I knew Warwick, and I was met up with him one time, and I sort of said, listen, I'm thinking about becoming a DJ. And fair play to him. You know, a lot of people sort of say, yeah, whatever. And he's come down. I can't remember the name of the place down in West Side Centre, opposite Kenilworth, the pub. Still there, the pub.
Yeah, flagship.
Yes.
What was it called back in the day?
It was called
Flagship, Leicester Spa, and what else?
You used to play there on a Saturday. And at that time, when I first started joining you, it was only you and Ronnie B and Uti. So there's only three of you. And then the odd occasion now and then other people used to turn up. But when we were all like together for like 3, 4, 5 years, it was only like Ronnie, myself, Wareika and Uti. So we'd be like coming down, because I don't drink, I was the one driving around everywhere, like learning, you know, doing all the bits and pieces, carrying the records, and as like Snow said, like, you know, every Saturday night playing in was it the Nag's Head in Bedford?
Bedford, yeah.
Yeah, Nag's Head in Bedford, and then straight from there, straight into the West Indian Club. So you know, you wouldn't be getting home till like 5, 6 in the morning. By the time I've dropped everyone off and everything, and slowly, when I had a bit of money, I started buying my own decks and slowly building up music. I just kind of went from there.
Got into it, yeah.
And haven't looked back. But I think it's like where Mark kind of like touched on a little while, you know, like there was obviously a few things going on and stuff. I could see all the madness, and I thought, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm in it for my music. And that's the reason I kind of went off of it, and you know, I went and started doing my own thing.
Yeah, that's blessed.
Just couldn't be doing with all like the madness and all that kind of thing. I thought, man, you know, I just want to play music. You see people dancing to your tunes and all that. That's, you know, we're all in it for money. Don't get me wrong, but that is like a big thing as well. You know, you see people dancing to your tunes, you think, yeah, you know what, I'm making people happy. And half the time, you know, like there was like arguments going on in the car on the way there or on the way back and all that. I thought, oh, allow this, man. You know what I mean? So slowly I started doing my own thing, and that was the only reason. But yeah, still doing it. Still don't forget where I come from, and that's it.
Cool.
That's cool. You know, while we're all on here, you know, I think we should do a little turning point night one time soon. Just get everyone, all the old people, or whoever's still around, whatever, young, old, whoever, just come and just do one little night somewhere.
So I should definitely do that.
And don't worry about sound. I've got sound.
Don't get it twisted, people. You know, still play. You know. I've got
like
the team pack up. It ain't pack up, bro.
I'm not about all the old crew. That's what I mean. I'm not about.
I get you. You know what? But to be honest, you know, and you know, like leading on to what Imi was saying, it's just like after a while, you know what I mean? It was just like, you know, it started to get a little bit mad. It started to get a little bit like, you know, you didn't really know what was going on. And then I remember like in like sort of 2014, 15, same thing again, you know, like when history repeats itself. I've done 3 dance then. One of them was with Rodigan. One of them was with, I think there was a Stone Love one, and there was a next one. And then for the tree dance, man, I must have got about like £90. And I thought, you know what, this ain't really working, man. It's not really working. So I just kind of like just took a like back seat and started to explore different things. You know, I mean, mixtapes that were selling like mad. You know, Arnie could tell you, man, it was just churning out hundreds of things, man. You know what I mean? You know, in a week, you know, duplicators just running all day, all night.
Crazy, yeah.
You understand? No, well, people wanted them in it, you know what I mean? I was putting them in shops, I was putting them all over the place and that. So that kind of, and then obviously I was working, and then that kind of led onto like doing the organization I have now in it, Outreach Music Group.
All right, now MDC is an offshoot of the same group, Outreach Music Group.
Yeah.
So tell us about OMG. How did that come about? And
so basically, in about 2005, I got a job in the mental health team in Bedford. It's a job I didn't even want. You know, this is linked back to music as well. So I wasn't working. Them time there, sound was fairly busy enough. You know, I was still getting a lot of work. You know, I was still selling a lot of like CDs and stuff. It was all right. So But you know, yeah, as you do, you do your little sign on thing, innit? So I went to sign on one day. The woman's giving me pure pressure, saying about I'm not applying for no job. Then you need to apply for this and da, 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 da. You know what I mean? So she gave me this job. She showed me this job about you used to, because I used to work in Mary Seacole in Luton as well.
Mm.
I had a little job down there. So she's saying, you know, you work with kind of vulnerable people, go for this job. And I'm like, no, I don't really want to work with no mad people and that. And they're talking about they're going to cut benefits and this and that and this and that. So anyway, I said, all right. I took it and I went for the interview. And because I didn't want it, I just went up there. I was in jeans, trainers, same way. Just went in there, sat in there, just being like, you know, not interested in nothing. The woman turns around, the manager of the team turns around and said, "Oi, I know you." I said, "Do you?" She goes, "Yeah, you're from Luton, innit?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "You're that DJ." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, I've seen you. I've heard you play." Da, 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 da. And she just said, like, if you want the job's yours. You can have it.
Wow.
And then there was 3 people on the interview panel. And she was telling the rest of the people on the interview panel, like, nah, you're not having him. He's coming with me. He's coming with me.
Mm.
Simple. And that was that. So anyway, that was like in like the May. Didn't hear nothing about it. I wasn't like really that interested. And then like in the September, they just told me to come in it. And it was a kind of a mad time at the time because prior to that, you know, my brother Freddie was unfortunately kidnapped in Jamaica. So all of that was going on, and me and Arlene was out in Jamaica and that, and then I had to leave and come back. And even like 2 days before the job, I was still saying, I ain't going. Can't bother with that, man. You know what I mean? I say no disrespect to people with mental health problems, but I was like, I ain't working with no mad people, man. Fuck that, man. You know, so anyway, I went. So I went, and that's how I got the job, and I'm still there. 18 years later, I'm still there.
Mm.
Well, with the music group now, so I was working with kind of like people with sort of complex, long and enduring mental illness. You know, people with like dual diagnosis, that's like mental illness and drug addiction and other addictions and stuff. So a few of them were quite talented, you know, with the music and that. And there was a music group running. So I went up to the music group and I said to the guy who was running it, I was like, you know, I've got a couple of people, man, who are really good. And, you know, can I bring them to the group? And when I told him the names, because some of them are quite infamous around Bedford, he was like, no, I don't think I can do it with them. And, you know, because I've got quite a nice group here. And I think they're going to kind of unbalance the group and all kind of rubbish he was coming out with. And I was really vexed. I was fuming. I was like, this guy, man, you know what I mean? And then I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to start my own thing. I'm just going to do my own freaking music group then. Because I knew that I could run a better music group than his anyway. Simple. So I did that and I had the idea floating in my head from about 2012. And then in 2017, I just took the plunge, got some funding from the lottery and started it. And we've been running like ever since.
Mm.
Yeah. Up till now, you know what I mean? And like last year was one of our busiest years, and we had, God, we run about 8 to 10 different projects last year.
Yeah.
In music production, creative writing, drama, all kind of things, you know what I mean? So that's how that was, isn't it? As Outreach Music Group, look at it, we're there, we're on all the socials, isn't it? We're just there, you know, have
yeah, but you did a song as well, didn't you?
Huh?
Your song.
Yeah, we've got loads of recordings. There's recording. If you go on, we've got a YouTube channel. You see all the little things.
There's some good songs.
With some of the people, and to be honest, we specialize in people with serious, long and enduring mental illness. You know, we're talking, you know, high level.
I've got to say, Mark, you were sort of downplaying yourself a little bit there.
Just a bit.
Because I remember back in the day when, you know, we were around Luton and there were people with mental health issues, even back in the day, and you were saying, you don't deal with people, mad people. But you and Feds, 100% were always, and showed me a lot about being sensitive, be funny.
Malachi is a
sorry, Malachi showed me a hell of a lot about how to be sensitive. Because back in them times, we just used to try and go on like we were bad people. So anybody who was like mad, we just used to take the piss out of them and just go, But you and Malachi always used to like have a different level and be really, really sensitive to anybody who like had mental issues. I was like, wow, where are these lot coming from? Like being all nice to these.
You could talk to them.
Trust me. Trust me.
Crazy.
Trust me, man. So I know you're kind of playing it down a bit, definitely. I mean, even back in them days when even people close to us in this group who were kind of struggling, we went out of our way to make you, and it was you lot who showed me, yeah, man, we got to, make sure we got to go out of our way for the man them in so you're playing it down a bit, and I know you don't like to hear it again, but I've got to say it, bro. You're there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think
well said.
Well, I learned a lot. Even Mali, I think he was on there earlier.
Malachi was unbelievable. Malachi was unbelievable. I've never seen anybody like him. He would go up to somebody who was clear mad. And we, back in them days, we used to take the piss out of them people or whatever. Malachi would go up to them and say, you lot shut up. And walk over to the guy and say, listen, what are you doing? Sort yourself out. I just didn't get it.
Malachi was quite upfront when he was talking.
We just take the piss out. Malachi would say no.
Yeah.
It's a love thing. Talk to them and say, what you doing? Sort yourself out, man. Sort yourself out.
Yeah. Akeem says being from Luton was qualification enough.
Yeah. That was funny.
Being from Luton was what?
Because he was saying that he went to the interview and he's like, oh, you're from Luton, yeah? Like, you can have the job.
Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't like no, it wasn't from Luton. She said you're that DJ.
See.
I know you. I've heard you play. You understand? Because that's what I'm saying. We were playing. We weren't, even though we were down and dirty in the ghetto Berry Park playing. We used to play nice places as well.
Yeah.
And people remember us from the nice places. You know what I mean?
Turning Point was very popular back in the day.
We weren't just playing.
Ghetto people.
But I didn't really care. We didn't really care. As Snow and Imi would tell you. You know what I mean? Sometimes on a good night on a Friday, we'd play in 3 different places in one night. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as some little papers rolling in it, some papers rolling, but we're there.
Mm-hmm.
You understand it?
And we used to do the youth talent show and all them type of things. Sorry, we need that. Yeah, we used to do the talent show for the youth there, man. 50, 61.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
To do one of them things there.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how the sort of music group, come together, the organization, and on that we've sort of kind of try and expand it a bit so we've launched Man Them Chat. You know what I mean? I've been helping Beanie with his Junior Patry.
Source of the Lee.
That's the kind of thing we've been doing, really, and Malachi's been tutoring for us. He's a very good tutor. I can't knock him. He's probably the best tutor we got. I say to him all the time, I say, how come you not so kind and forgiving to us when we were like you after them? I'm like, wow. And
we all humble with age, bro.
He'll turn around and say, oh, Wareika, you're vulnerable. You're the vulnerable man.
Wareika, we always used to tell you, humble yourself, kid. Humble you, for real.
Well, you try to stay humble, you know what I mean? But you can't be too humble. You won't get nowhere into this music game if you're too humble and too reserved. Still, you have to kind of.
I hear that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, you have to know your worth. You have to know your worth, and you do have to have a sort of element of ego in it as well, because otherwise people will just trample on you, man.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody got a last question? Anybody else with a last question before we wrap up?
Yeah, question for Wareika. Yeah. As far as I can remember.
Yeah.
You've always been like, you spent a lot of time down 61 back in the days.
Yeah.
Especially around the library.
Yeah.
And you was always aware of most of the issue.
Yes.
But I'm surprised that you actually didn't go down that route, like more into the community from them time, because it's not like people weren't around you and nobody never mentor you, because I mean you've always had this skill.
Yeah, but our brother most of that already, innit? So.
Yeah, but I don't know. You're right, Ninja, because I mean, I could have probably got a job with the council and things like that. I don't even know why. I don't even know. I can't really answer that really. But I think
I don't think really wanted to, Mark.
I don't really think I wanted
done it all, innit?
We were so tied into the music, you know what I mean, and so obsessive about it. There wouldn't be any sort of time to really say, oh, you're gonna go and work for this and that and rare. But then I did have a realization when I got to 30 and I realized I didn't even have a fucking pot to piss in. I went and got a job. I went and got a job down Mary Seacole. You understand? And it kind of snowballed from there. Because I did know, you know what I mean, that this thing was really, you know, it was a struggle. And to be honest, I said, you know, in all throughout the 90s, Ninja, we struggled. We struggled. Yeah, we were doing a lots of things, man. But internally, amongst the man them, you know, I mean, every man them on here who was in Turning Point in the early 90s knew that we had issues, man.
There was issues.
we had a lot of issues.
We had a lot of issues, man.
Let's put it that way.
Even the man that was around me and followed me and everything as well. My gosh, it was terrible.
So it was just one of them, but you know,
financial stuff.
Nothing happens before it's time, Ninja, innit? Nothing happens before it's time, brother. So I just saw it going, it. You know what I mean? I can't really say why, you know.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Tell us something about yourself that most people don't
know.
Annoying.
No, most people don't know, innit?
Oh, you know that, do you? What's that? Hold up.
Everybody knows that, Ollie.
Oh, the comics.
Yeah, that's boring.
I can't see.
No. He's I'll tell you what, he loved dinosaurs. He was a dinosaur fanatic.
No, I'll tell you one. I'll keep it musical. You know, I mean, I kind of really like 80s. I like 80s synth music.
You like 80s
synth music?
Synth music.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah.
So I like Mode. I like Depeche Mode. I like Gary Newman. I love Human League.
You got that from me.
Them kind of vibes. So them tuning.
What do they call it again?
I do like them kind of music.
Romance,
not really.
New romantics.
No, not new romantics. More simple. Anything synthesizer. So you know, Pet Shop Boys, them kind of thing. I like them kind of thing.
Well,
I listen to them all the time. So there you go. Nobody never know that one day.
Yeah. All right. So.
What was you showing? Comics, isn't it? What was you showing?
I like.
We couldn't see that. We didn't see the comics. Show the comics.
He likes comics.
I like comic books, and I sell them on eBay.
He's got too many of them.
Comic Con and a world-worthy collection of comic book parties.
Yeah, we see one of them, man. Because you picked them up, but we didn't get to see it.
Yeah, for me and it's me and Mout's younger brother Hepburn were big.
That's right.
Okay.
Oh, it's a comic.
Heppy was a big comic fan like me. You know what I mean? And
massive.
I don't think he went on with it longer. You know what I mean? But I did.
Did you hear that, Mark?
Huh?
The first Luton Comic Con is on this week.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. I can't do it. No, I'm playing at a wedding that day.
Are you going, Black?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Down at my door. I was supposed to be doing the security there, and I was going to run a tournament, Tekken tournament.
Right.
Oh, is it?
Huh?
When?
I was supposed to run a Tekken tournament, but they didn't give me enough time
to get it.
Yeah, it's on Saturday, son. You know, Hakeem is the comic con. The Comic Con's on Saturday at Lucy Farm.
Nah, but I'm going to be in London, but I can't.
Yeah.
No, actually, maybe.
I think the tickets are sold out anyway, still. But I think speak to Brina.
Yeah. Brina usually gets one.
We've got a few nerds in the family as well. You know, we've got we'll drop off head fall upon shoulder or whatever. You know, Akeem's a bit nerdy.
Hold on.
On these stream is very nerdy as well. You know.
Okay,
I mean?
hold on. Dex says, tell him to show you his pic where he's dressed up like Adamant. What's that? As in
Oh,
Adamant.
Black Adam.
Adamant, you know. I remember
Adamant.
Yeah, Adamant. Big tune.
You lost me there, in me. I don't know what you're chatting about.
Man,
what with white paint across my nose?
Adamant was big still.
Good, but can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Wareika, what's your most memorable dance you've ever played at, and what's your favourite club in and around the local area and further afield?
The best, to be honest, the best club, and I say to the owners this all the time. Anytime I see him, Ezra and Stagger Lead, I think the best club ever, black club in the whole of Bedfordshire, was Cabana in Bedford. What a venue, man! Oh my God, they had some of the best dances in there, man. Everybody from Voodoo, you know, Lady Saw, Mighty Crown. You know, I remember one day, a lady saw throw down Uti on the stage. He was so nuts that he thought that he could go on stage with Lady Saw it. She throw him down on the stage and one thing. You know, yeah, I think that Cabana, and then one of the best dances was probably in Cabana. One Christmas, one Boxing Day with Stone Love, and it was Rory playing. And I think, you was on holiday that time there, and then I had to do it on my own. And I played a blinding set, man. You know what I mean? I was really nervous because it was Rory there, and
but you played a few times with Stone Love.
Yeah, but this is with Rory though. You know what I mean? You know, Rory's Rory, innit?
Yeah.
There's Stone Love, and then there's Rory. Yeah, so Rory's there, innit? And after I played my set, man, he gave me a thumbs up. Yeah, he gave me a thumbs up, man. I was elated, man. I was just like, freaking hell. You know, that was the best dance. And thinking about another good one. Oh, one time Victor, in your place, Victor, in Warriors Workshop, man. Oh my God. That's Saxon, man. We ton over Saxon in there that night there, man. Oh my God. It was mad. You know what I mean? I think that's the best performance he's ever done in his life.
Yeah. I've got to go, you know.
Yeah, all right, Akeem, no worries.
It was good though, like,
yeah, we smacked it, man. That dance was probably a great one. And then there's, you know, some of the infamous ones then in between that as well. You know, we had some crazy ones in Birmingham where gate man's getting shot and doorman's getting chopped up and madness, you know. And then I remember one before we closed, I know we need to wrap it up anyway. One really funny one was playing in Manchester. So we was playing at a dance in Cheetham Hill, all right? And so it's about 5 minutes before we're coming on. Next minute, police raid the club. We're like, fuck. So they raid the club now, close it down. And then the promoter guy, oh, don't worry about it, boys, man. You know, we're going to sort something out. I'm like, sort what out, man? It's like 1:30 in the morning, you know, sort out what? So there's like a kebab shop across the road. So he parks us up in the kebab shop. Just stay here, bro, man. You know what I mean? Order our food, look after the man, and blah, 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 blah. You understand? So we're sitting there eating this food. We're like, what's going on there? Next minute, you know, we're all flagging now. The man goes, he comes back and goes, are you ready? And we're like, ready for what? And he's like, yeah, man, ready for the dance. I said, you talking about dance? I thought the dance is mash up, bro. And he goes, no. We've got dance, man. You know what I mean? Dance is sorted. So, we go down to Moss Side. The man takes over this shop. The man, in an hour, the man had put a sound in there, his bar in there, everything.
Wow.
And said, yeah, go on. And then, we ended up playing in that. We played in that shop on the front line in Moss Side, man. We come out of there about 10:30 in the morning. I never seen nothing like it in my life. You know what I mean? You know, the dancers got mashed up by the police, but man, the promoters still found a way. That would never happen down there. You would never happen if you had a dance in like, you know, in town or whatever, and it got raided and that. You know what I mean? You think you're still gonna go and have dance next session in Berry Park an hour and a half later? Where? You know what I mean? So you know those were the kind of interesting ones.
Yeah. Dex says, thank you for the talk. Enough love and blessings to you all. My belly can't wait any longer, so I got to feed it. Until the next time, God bless.
Later. Anyway, I'm you done.
Yeah, man. Respect, Wareika. Give thanks to you, huh?
Always, man.
Yeah, man. Nice one.
Thanks for passing through people. Yeah, respect.